Welcome to the inaugural and first episode of A.S.M.R, A Straight Man Reviews, the series where I attempt to change myself from within through the power of movies and cinema. We are kicking this series off with the classic romantic comedy, When Harry Met Sally. I chose this movie because typically when you search top romantic comedies of all time, this movie is usually number one, if not almost always in the top 5. So because of that, I thought it would be a great entry point into the series. I don't really know too much about the movie aside from the famous scenes that everybody always quotes.
I'll have what she's having.
I know it's got Billy Crystal, Meg Ryan. I know it was directed by Rob Reiner. I've seen a few other Rob Reiner movies and I've really enjoyed those, so I've got a good feeling that I'm probably going to like this movie. But with that being said, I'm going to go check it out and I will be back with my own personal synopsis. Okay, so the movie starts off interviewing an old couple, talking to them about their love life and their relationship and how they met. And this is something that the movie does probably like 5 or 6 times throughout the entire film, is it just randomly interviews old couples and comically kind of talks to them about their lives and their love lives and their views on that and whatnot. Then the movie just kind of jumps right into it with Harry and Sally going on a road trip from Chicago to New York. I believe they're both moving from Chicago to New York. I know Sally's going there for school. I don't know if it's ever really explained why Harry is going. They know each other through Harry's current girlfriend, who is also Sally's friend. And that's just kind of how it starts. They're just off and about. They have a few conversations about death and sex. Harry has his very famous monologue about how women and men can't be friends without sex getting in the way. They tend to disagree basically on everything that they talk about. And once they get to New York, they seemingly part ways for good. So about 10 years goes by and they run into each other maybe once or twice throughout this, giving each other relationship updates every time they see each other, until they eventually see each other in a bookstore and find out that they have both just been broken up with. So they go out to eat, talk about it, and end up finally becoming good friends. So throughout the rest of the movie, it's basically them becoming friends, kind of talking to each other about their own relationship issues, giving each other relationship advice, all while kind of being jealous of the other person. And whenever they're in another relationship, you can always see kind of the emotions kind of sinking in or slipping through a little bit, until eventually there is a New Year's party where they kind of just have this moment where they're dancing and their cheeks are touching, which is kind of the first moment where you really see that they're starting to really fall for each other. Then some more time goes by and they eventually sleep with each other, get into a really big argument about it because that's what happens when platonic friends sleep with each other. They kind of agree that it was a mistake, even though they seemingly both are still wrapped up in it emotionally. And then eventually it gets to the final New Year's party at the end of the movie. Harry is not there. Sally is there. There's this big moment where Harry is running back to the party because he realizes he loves her and she's trying to get out of the party because she hates it there. They run into each other, have this moment, and then the movie ends with the two of them being interviewed and talking about their own love life and relationship, and they seemingly live happily ever after. Okay, so I enjoyed the movie. I really thought the writing, the directing, the acting were all really good, especially the writing between Harry and Sally. I thought they kept it really witty, they kept it really light and fun, especially since the whole movie tends to be basically a giant conversation between Harry and Sally and them just kind of figuring things out between each other. The movie seems to be asking the age-old question, can men and women be just friends? And I think based on the movie and the answer the movie gives, the answer is no, because ultimately they do end up getting together at the end of the movie. So I guess the answer is no, according to this movie. I think the movie also kind of examines the idea of the right person in the right place at the right time and having all those things line up. And just because someone is the right person for you doesn't necessarily mean things are going to work out especially because of like exterior things. I really liked the movie because I felt like it didn't over romanticize the idea of a relationship between a man and a woman. I feel like it kept it very real, especially for someone dating in like their 20s and 30s. I found it very relatable, especially just all the back and forth, just the confusion, the not really knowing what you want for yourself, so you can't really give somebody else what they want. How it can be a lot more complicated and drawn out than just the whole love at first sight kind of idea. I would definitely suggest this movie for other men, especially single men. I think it does a great job at kind of showing that the dynamic between men and women when it comes to relationships isn't so necessarily black and white with the whole I like you too, let's be together kind of thing. I think it kind of shows how much more complicated things can get, especially when you're just trying to be friends with somebody of the opposite sex or somebody that you're attracted to. I think it does a great job at really being fair to both sides and not really leaning one way or the other. I think it really shows, just the internal struggle of what people go through when they are in the dating world. And I don't think that's really changed from how things are today. I know we're in the era of Tinder and online dating where people basically have a very specific list of what they're looking for and they lay it all out there. But I think this still applies because, it's not really like plugging things together. It's not really like 1 and 1 makes 2. It's a lot more complicated, and I'm sure there's a lot of calculus in the universe in the grand scheme of things involved when it comes to dating and relationships and men and women. All right, so that was When Harry Met Sally. A pretty mild entrance into this series, but I feel a pretty appropriate one at that. I'm sure there will be more romantic comedies coming. I've got my list of movies, so I'm just going to keep them going. If you're still watching at this point, thank you for tuning into the video. I'm sure they'll get a whole lot better. I'm sure they'll get a whole lot more entertaining as time goes on. But until then, thank you for watching A Straight Man Reviews, and I will be back with the next one. Take care.